It is Monday, June 23rd, 2025, and this is the latest news of the day. I wanted to start with an interview I read of the parents of Melissa Hortman. They gave an interview to CBS News. You'll remember that Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were gunned down and murdered on June 14th. Melissa Hortman's parents and brother stated, quote, "It's been very hard the last few days in what seems unfair and tragic, the way her last night was spent," unquote. They went on to describe the morning of June 14, the morning of the shooting. After finding out they had been shot, they stated, "We knew they had been shot, but we couldn't find out where they were. We chased around hospital after hospital and couldn't find them." She went on to say that we looked at each other and finally realized the reason they weren't in the hospital was because they weren't alive. It was shortly after that they got the call to confirm both had passed away from their injuries. They found out the shooter had even murdered the Hortman's golden retriever. His name was Gilbert. In other gun related violence, a woman was killed and a man injured in Indianapolis. The woman was found by police lying in the street. A man was found in his car in Houston, Texas, after a reported road rage shooting. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The deceased victim was just 43 years old. In Bartlett, Tennessee, two Walmart employees were involved in an altercation resulting in a shooting. The mayor of Arlington, a nearby town, happened to be shopping in the store when he heard gunshots. He described the shooting to News 3, "Just in shopping and heard a couple of pops and then a barrage of 8 to 10 shots back to back. Everyone started screaming and running. Once he made his way to the front of the store, he found the victim with a gunshot wound lying on the floor and rendered aid until the police arrived." He stated he was stated to have had multiple gunshot wounds, the victim. No updates since. Two people were killed in Chicago from gunshot wounds. The victims were two men, both in their mid-20s. In Anderson County, South Carolina, at least 10 people were shot during a gathering over the weekend. At this time, a 35-year-old woman has been confirmed dead in that shooting. Another was airlifted to the hospital, and 8 other individuals were transported to area hospitals there in South Carolina. That's just a very small sampling of the violence that happens from guns just in the course of a day or two. 8 people were killed in a hot air balloon that crashed to the ground in Brazil. The balloon was carrying at least 21 people when it caught fire. A private plane in North Carolina crashed while attempting to land. 2 people were killed, one the pilot, the other was the single passenger on board. Witnesses say the pilot was trying to avoid a turtle that was on the runway. The plane crashed into a wooded area just beyond the runway and then apparently burst into flames. There were no survivors. Another plane crash in North Carolina leaves 2 dead in Harnett County, a small private plane again with 2 on board. There were no survivors for that one. A 6-year-old reported missing at Millennial Park in, I believe it was Walker, Michigan, was located. The child had drowned. Lake Tahoe reports 6 people are confirmed dead and 2 still missing after a boat capsized. 2 others were rescued by the Coast Guard. At the time I was writing this copy, search teams were continuing to search for the 2 missing, but I believe I heard an update this morning that they have called off that search. A 14-year-old girl has been reported missing from Eaton County, Michigan. Police say Styla Denton. Please take a moment and look that name up if you're in that area. Styla Denton, Styla, age 14. She does not have her cell phone with her, and she went missing from her home there in Eaton County, Michigan. The Pasadena Humane Society is waiving the adoption fees for 19 adult cats that were found in the back of a stolen U-Haul van. So if you're in the area and you'd like to adopt a cat, a warning to cat owners in Indiana, at least. Bobcat fever, which is a contagious disease, has been found in several cases in Indiana, according to local veterinarians there. The disease is most often deadly for felines. It happens when a cat is bitten by an infected tick. So please check your cats if you have a cat that likes to spend some time outdoors. Your cat may show signs of fatigue, loss of appetite, and may even have a fever. Veterinarians agree most cats do not survive, so don't hesitate to seek medical attention for your cat at the earliest signs. A warning about swimming in lakes and ponds. A toddler, I believe a 2-year-old toddler, contracted a severe E. coli infection after the family went swimming at Keystone Lake in Oklahoma. The 2-year-old was placed in a medically induced coma for several days and is still fighting for her life in the hospital. She is expected to recover, but she's still hospitalized and in serious condition. I want to share some recalls just announced. Always listen to recalls. Check your fridge, check your cupboards or vehicle or whatever the product is. In this case, Trader Joe's issued a recall for Face Rock Creamery Vampire Slayer cheese curds, lot number 082925, as being potentially contaminated with listeria. That's very serious. Symptoms of listeria are headache, confusion, fever, and seizures. Listeria is especially dangerous for pregnant women, newborns, and older adults. Lipari Foods out of Michigan has issued a recall for the 14-ounce packages of JLM branded dark chocolate nonpareils due to an undeclared milk ingredient posing a risk for those who do have a dairy allergy. NBC News reported that in light of RFK Jr.'s firings at the CDC advisory panel, that independent medical organizations and experts are seeking to form an alternative, unbiased group to share health information with the public. One group already launching is the Vaccine Integrity Project, stated to be a possible alternative to the Center for Disease Control, aka CDC, and Prevention's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. You will recall that earlier this month, RFK Jr. fired all 17 members of the advisory board. Country music star Kacey Musgraves reportedly sustained a broken rib while in Mexico. She says she fell on wet tile, slipped on wet tile, and fell when she was reaching for a towel. The Grammy-winning country artist was forced to cancel her upcoming performances, and her spokesperson reports she is expected to return to the stage by July 5th. Actress Lynn Hamilton has passed away at the age of 95. She is remembered for her role in Sanford & Sons, as well as her memorable role on The Waltons. I'm going to probably mispronounce this name, and I apologize ahead of time. David Bell. He has 2 Hawaiian names in the middle there. David Hekili Kanui Bell has died at the age of 46. Young man. He was most recently appearing in Lilo and Stitch, which actually just premiered in May. He also appeared in Magnum P.I. and Hawaii Five-0. His cause of death has not yet been released. If you want to Google that, if you just put in David Bell, Lilo and Stitch, you'll see his picture and more information about this. Food Network star chef Anne Burrell has passed away at her home. She was 55 years old. Cause of death is pending an autopsy. The Texas Tribune reported on June 18 that Texas lawmakers have passed several bills that make it even easier for gun owners to access and keep their firearms. Some feel it counterproductive to push for less regulations like this on gun ownership at a time when firearms are the leading cause of death among children in the United States. The FDA has approved a vaccine to protect infants from severe RSV infections. The FDA also has issued a warning for those using an anti-nausea patch. I know some those are pretty popular for various reasons. Transderm SCOP, SCOP, it's a patch used to prevent nausea from motion sickness as well as from surgery. In a statement, the FDA claims the patch can impair the body's ability to cool itself, which can lead to hypothermia. 3 more dead hostages from Gaza were recovered on June 22nd. The remains were those of 2 young men, ages 19 and 21, as well as a 70-year-old woman. Rhode Island lawmakers have passed a bill to ban the sale of assault weapons. New York Governor Hochul has signed a bill that allows voters to receive refreshments while waiting in line to vote. In Hempstead, New York, there were 15 sets of twins graduating from one high school. Not sure what happened there 18 years ago. In other words, out of a graduating class of 500 students, 30 of those students are twin. Very interesting. Bruce, a golden retriever, made his debut with Major League Baseball as the Bat Boy, retrieving bats at National Park in Washington State during the Washington National versus Miami Marlins game. According to Gas Buddy, the average price of gas today is $3.16 a gallon. And that is, I think, about what it is here where I'm located, which is Ohio. CBS News keeps a tracker on their site for various household costs. According to them, all food cost about 117% of what it cost in January 2022. So it's really a big increase. That means that a grocery bill that costs $100 then now would cost about $117. So depending on the size of your family, that can be significant. And hopefully we will see you tomorrow for News of the Day.